just gonna die in the end.
Okay, guys, here we go with another epic rap battle of history. This one is Stephen King versus Edgar Allan Poe. You guys had recommended this one, got a lot of thumbs up. Now, I should mention too, I'm gonna be gone for a few days. The end of this coming week, starting on the 9th. I'll just be out of town for a few days. But I'll make some of these ERBs in advance so we have them each day. Just so you know, I will have some done in advance. So if I'm not making ones that correspond directly to what you had recommended in the previous one, that's why they were recorded ahead. Just thought I'd give you guys a heads up on that. Now, Stephen King versus Edgar Allan Poe. This is an interesting one to me. Not a huge reader of either. I've read a couple of Stephen King's books many years ago. I've read some of Poe's poems. Quote The Raven, nevermore. That's pretty good. I like The Raven. I don't think much of anybody doesn't like The Raven. The Raven's really good. And I will give Stephen King this. My favorite horror movie of all time is based on one of his novels, The Shining. The story was great, but I think what takes it to that next level was Jack Nicholson's performance, and Nicholson was just crazy good in that movie. It's just and I like horror. Again, I told you guys before, I don't believe in the occult. It's not that an occult-based horror movie can't scare me. It can give me, you can tweak me a little bit, get me a little freaked out. But it's hard for it to really affect me because I don't believe in the occult. Whereas in The Shining, the guy's just losing his mind and you don't know what is real and what's just going on in his world. It's just cool. I just like that story. As far as rooting interest, I've seen a lot of Stephen King in interviews and stuff like that, and I don't like him. I mean, just don't get me wrong, just personal preference. Not all of us are in sync with other people, but to me, he just comes off as an arrogant douchebag. Given that, I'm going to root for Edgar Allan Poe because, I love, if nothing else, The Raven is just something I really, really enjoy. He has the detriment of, too, if I remember what I've read about him, didn't he? I know he married his cousin, and what's worse, wasn't she like 12 or 13 or something when he married her? So Ed was kind of fucked up. But if you look at pictures of Ed, he was ugly even by standards of the time. I mean, it seemed back in that era that it was more difficult to find the beautiful people. Ed was a freak. No matter Ed was nighttime shopping. He looked like that right from the get go. That was a combination of the Phantom of the Opera and the Hunchback of Notre Dame. I'd like a round of applause for that. I don't know how I put those two together, but it seems I think it works in Edgar Allan Poe's case. I'm rooting for Poe. We'll go in with an open mind. Tell you who I thought won. Let me know what you guys think. Here we go. Get at it, writer boys.
Battles of history.
You got to say that with this face. I know that actor. I can't think of who it is. You get him, Ed. This weekend movie. Oh, not bad. Well put. Beverly clearly is edgy. Posers. I like that. Oh! Like that. No, it's Castle Rock good. Yeah, you're a workaholic, right? Running Man. Dude. He's not soft. He's badass. Crank at a Shawshank or a Green Mile. Mask of the Red Band, Billy Budd Curd, hitting the pendulum. Not even unnerving. Perving on your first cousin when she's 13 years old. 13. that was disturbing. He went there. That was a good place to go. I like his flow. Nice, Poe. I could have spent that time better.
unique bars, I can write a whole bestseller. I'm so prolific,
He's just pumping himself up.
And I'll be smacking you with any of the big thick books. My big dick bibliography. See, I'm the author.
Oh, big dick bibliography.
To the core. Fame, money, talent, success. You'll always have less.
You'll always have less, nevermore. That was a good line at the end. Now, for me, there's an easy winner here. And I'll tell you why. I always try and base mine. You guys have seen. I try and base my predictions on the content. You know, who came at the other harsher, better, more effectively. This was the case though, where the reason I don't base it much on flow is because I don't know shit. I don't listen to enough rap to be a good judge of that. But this is one of those instances where I just thought, well, it's the only instance so far where I got captured thinking that one rap or one flow was better than the other, and that the flow of Poe I thought was superior. But beyond that, I got to give it to Edgar Allan Poe just because Stephen King, which is perfectly Stephen King-ish as far as I'm concerned, he just basically tried to prop himself up and give himself props about all the shit he's done rather than go after Edgar Allan Poe. He did go after the 13-year-old cousin. The Nevermore line at the end was good, but I don't think it was good enough to overcome the digs that Poe got in at him first. You guys agree? I think Poe, like I say, I try not to give too much credence to that because all the others I've judged on who was harsher, who got in the better shots. But Poe, I think, was much smoother to listen to. Again, when you look like Edgar Allan Poe, you got nothing to do but sit around and work on your verse. But yeah, he's Edgar Allan Poe got him. I think his lines were much more hard hitting, and the Nevermore, the way he put that together at the end, Stephen King did, that was cool, but not enough to overtake him. I give it to Edgar Allan Poe. Quote the Raven all you want, Stephen King. You got Nevermore. What do you guys think?